Right, hey there, Twisted Sage here. We have, for me, a beautiful trine with the sun and the moon, 3 degrees Aquarius to Gemini moon. Of course, one thing I always try to do is correlate the weather with what's happening in the sky, so we can look at the planets and what elements they hold, but also the specific planets, strip away perhaps the sign that they're in, and just see what aspects are lining up, geometry is lining up within the planets. And or in a situation like this where we have weather going, it's kind of been going for some days now. In fact, the first day of Aquarius season, we had a decent little storm. That was the beginning. Trying to think what, I guess we perhaps might have had the Taurus moon at that time, which would have been greater frictional energy. So that got things, the square got things started. It kept flowing. Now we have a trine and we see the storm kicking ass. I was going to transmit yesterday, but I had my son with me. That's not the reason why I didn't. I mean, maybe partially. Perhaps I should have, though. So Tuesday was the day that the sun came in Aquarius, and I had spoken on the news of when the moon was in Aquarius, right on top of my sun, my astrological sun. I got the news of my grandfather not having long to live. We made it past the day, but apparently he died on the 0 degrees of Aquarius sun. Now, he was the August 20th, so that would have made him like 28 degrees Leo. So I wasn't in direct opposition, but the symbology is there. A lot of your newspaper horoscopes, they run with whole sign astrology. And so in whole sign astrology, you would just put Leo in the first house for my grandpa, and then that automatically makes the descendant line in the 7th house Aquarius. And kind of, I think you still bring the degrees into it, but I don't really want to use the word generic, but a little more general. There we go. A little more general. You would say, okay, all those, any planet in Aquarius is opposing his Leo. I found this, I met him like once when I was little, like 5. And then a couple years ago, Jaden got to meet him. So the time that I spent with the man was very fractional. But that doesn't mean, I was actually surprised it hit me when I found out the news that he was dead. It hit me more emotional than I thought it would. It is my physical lineage. Without his actions, I would exist differently. He was, he definitely was, I'm guessing might have had his chart in an old phone, actually. But on a more disturbing note, I guess I don't necessarily need to bring that in, or I don't like. So my mom's always been the black sheep of her family, and my aunt, who's the one that reached out to me to let me know that he was in a hospital, and not my uncle, who's blood related to me, was the one that reached out. And it just feels like there's a lot of secret, there's a lot of hiding of shit. So like, we didn't find out my grandfather died until 2 days after he was dead. Doing a little pass here in the rain. And because my mom had reached out to Judy, I guess I shouldn't use names, reached out to my aunt and was just inquiring. I forgot what, if she was just calling about for my grandpa or what, but they weren't talking about him right away. They were talking, like, I guess apparently my uncle got the COVID or whatever and got sick. So she was asking about his health, and she said, well, how's Dad? And she was like, well, he died 2 days ago. I texted Corey, and I was like, what? And my mom had sent that in a voice message because I was at work. And that made me fucking angry. Fuck you. You didn't text me. The main way that I ever communicate with her is through Messenger. And I don't erase shit. Fuck. Have you seen my goddamn truck? Like, look at the shit that I need to throw away or clean. Like, I don't fucking go through and erase messages. I wouldn't erase that message. And you know, that fucking pisses me off. Like, so the fucking deception. Again, so like my grandmother never liked my mom. My grandmother was the oldest of 4 girls on a farm in Oklahoma. I always say, you know, back then you didn't want girls. You definitely wanted your firstborn or first couple children to be boys. And so my grandmother come from a family of no boys on a farm. And these are just dots I'm connecting. Perhaps I'm missing facts. But her and my grandfather's relationship wasn't, you know, he was a cowboy. He was fucking rodeoing. Like, he was a party man. He also sold farm equipment, was his means of supporting himself. So he was in and out, kind of, his influence on the family was there and then gone, there and gone type thing. He traveled when he sold farm equipment, but when he left the family, he left my grandmother for a native Spanish woman, native Mexican. I don't know what her Native American tribe lineage was, but and I guess my grandmother might have found him in the act of getting down, from the story my mom told me. Anyways, here nor there, but yeah, I'm a detail guy. So, you know, my grandmother held deep resentment towards him. Anywho, where am I trying to get at? So, I want to say my mom's lineage, I think, was definitely more connected to to Ray Chastain, my grandfather. I think the fire was more on his side, and then the earth, water elements were more on my grandmother's side. My grandmother was a Virgo. Well, my mom has a Mars in Scorpio, a North Node in Scorpio, and I'm judging from her hairline, I feel like she's also a rising Scorpio, which would make sense because I think my dad had a moon in Scorpio. My son is a Scorpio rising. But that Scorpio would have gone along. But if you just pull the sun, because the sun, they do say, is the most important aspect to look at a chart. You know, if your sun signs aren't harmonious, that can be real conflicting in life. So my mom is a Sagittarius. My grandmother was a Virgo. It's a square. It creates internal conflicts for the both of them. Now her mom, so my mom's dad, Leo, that's a trine. Easy flowing energy. Jovial and heartfelt. But yeah, the deception. Why would you fucking withhold that info and not let somebody know right away? And I got the fucking proof on my fucking father's fucking grave. I didn't erase shit, and there was no goddamn message about my grandfather passing. Fucking liars. Anywho, another fucking sour note. Someone I've known for fucking years, since she was at least, maybe 14, 13. And she had to have been at least 33, maybe 35, 30, let's see. Probably 35 at the oldest. Just fucking committed suicide. Yes, I guess at this moment, a day and a half ago. I got the news yesterday evening, and so it was like, at that point it was like 12 hours. I don't know the exact fucking time. She was a Cancer. I know her birthday. I don't know I couldn't find the year. She didn't have it on her Facebook. I think she's born like 87. Anywho, so if we just want to go whole sign astrology, all this Aquarius would land in her 8th house, the house of deep emotional traumas. And again, it's the water signs. Emotion is the main reason that we commit suicide. The overwhelmingness of emotion that feels we cannot escape. The 8th house. So for Cancers, the 8th house is Aquarius. So that's sex, but that's also deep emotional traumas. And you got Aquarius in your 8th house. It's kind of it's a weirdo spot. But it's also Aquarius, so it's sudden. So all this Aquarius activity, perhaps activated deep emotional traumas that were undealt with. She definitely liked to drink, what most of us Americans do. Those plants are going to be sitting there for a minute. I don't know her rising, but we're just going whole sign astrology, making the sun in the first house, making her Cancer her first house. I do prefer the placidus, the more scientifically exactness of that, what that brings, but it doesn't devalue the fact that the whole sign astrology brings relevant intel. Shit. All right, I'm clear. I thought I saw a ghost. By that, this is the problem with not seeing life from a spiritual view instead of all logical view. Tangible, everything. If you can't see it, it's not real. She had no reason. I mean, she had no external reason. But I'm not that close to her. She didn't have any kids. She didn't have a husband. She was a successful realtor. So, I mean, she pretty much just got to, live it up as she wanted. But perhaps she felt deep unfulfillment. Again, obviously, keep it basic. There's something you're seriously not happy about in this life, and you feel that there's no overcoming it or changing it. Like I've said, as the Aquarian stuff goes on, shit, look at that. I got 2 people in my world that passed, and we're only at 3 degrees of the Aquarian sun. Not to say I'm going to have more. They're going to pass this week, but obviously I haven't had the happiest of shit to report on as of late. Definitely feeling the squares. All right, this one's getting long enough. These are the changing times. We are the ones that are either going to help change it or check out, I guess. Hey, look at this synchronicity. Thing of note there, it seems like been seeing a lot of cop activity. Yesterday, me and Jaden pulled into the gas station. Some chick was pulled over there. Aquarius rules the people. Saturn rules restriction, authority. And then we got the square activation from the Taurus side. So it seems like authoritarian energy is going to be hitting hard on the people. All right. Happy days. Happy days.